Good afternoon, my friends. Grim here. I hope you're well today, and I need to begin this very exciting video with a plea for your understanding, your patience, your forbearance, maybe even your forgiveness, because, well, two reasons. Number one, I'm rusty AF with Magic generally, have not played a game in 4, maybe 5 months. Hard to believe, but true. The other reason is that this is my first time ever playing Premodern. My only experience with Premodern is goldfishing a little bit a few days ago, and that's about it, and looking into the format a bit, enough to decide that I wanted to play it. Check out my first impressions video if you have not already done so, but today the speculation ends and the gameplay begins. This is the first of what I hope will be many mini leagues of Premodern. So we're taking one deck through 3 different matchups against 3 different decks, and ideally against 3 different pilots. Today we have 3 brave volunteers for whom you also need to exercise patience and understanding, perhaps, because all of us are brand new to Modern. I've got a gauntlet here of 3 really awesome guys, but also 3 really skilled pilots, so I've got a real challenge before me. I'm playing against Bobby, Dan, and Nostier, so huge shout out to all Patreon supporters, all community members, but today, those 3 especially. And we're playing the Rock. We've also decided ahead of time what decks our opponents will be playing. Bobby's going to kick us off with Psychatog, kind of a combo finisher with a lot of control elements involved, so you could maybe it's a bit of a stretch, but you could call it both combo and control representation in that one deck. Dan will be in the middle, fittingly, with a mid-range mirror. He's bringing Deadguy Ale to the table. And finally, Nostier at the end. We're all getting tired. We got to go fast. He's going to bring the aggro. He's going to be playing Burn. So it's 3 relatively unique decks. Of course, Burn and Deadguy exist in other formats, but they're very unique in terms of how they manifest in Premodern, and Psychatog is a very much symbolic deck of the format, I would say. Nostalgic, unique, etc. I am playing the Rock, I am playing green, black, mid-range, and I'm going to give you a brief deck tech here. This is my first time out, so I'm definitely no expert. I'm just going to tell you what I see. So the Rock has a lot going on here, my friends. It's a high land count at 24 lands, certainly prone to flooding. 15 of those are basics. We've got some Euro lands here. Very, very nice. Fitting, if you ask me, for the theme. 4 copies of Llanowar Wastes, the Pain land for more fixing, and 4 copies of my favorite man land of all time, the Treetop Village. That makes me happy, as does this Valras Stronghold. This is one of many ways in which cards that go to the graveyard are pretty much, one way or another, going to see the light of day again, unless the opponent somehow disrupts all of your loops, your graveyard synergy. Valras Stronghold, of course, buying back a big bomb after it already X for 1 the opponent. That's kind of the theme of the deck. We've got good for one interaction at the very bottom of the curve with Cabal Therapy and Duress. Obviously, these cards police the format in a major way. A quick perusal of deck lists will tell you that much. And then we have Mana Dorks, which I'm not as used to seeing. Discard and Rock, okay, I'm with you. Birds of Paradise, a little bit throwing me off, but the top end is hardy. We need to ramp. It's yet more mana fixing in a format that doesn't have great mana fixing inherently, and it's good fodder for Cabal Therapy and other sacrifice effects in the mid to late game. Wall of Blossoms, a 4 of good defensive card, helps you cantrip and curve out early, and of course, after having generated that value of drawing a card and blocking, it too can be sacked mercilessly to Cabal Therapy. Living Wish is an interesting 2 of. I'm assuming not all lists play it, but this one that I just copy-pasted offline somewhere, it certainly is. And that allows you to play a very techie sideboard with a lot of 1-ofs that otherwise might not be quite as viable, but it's just a 2-of because the deck's not really built around tutoring as far as I can tell. More copies might be clunky, might be too slow, but 2 definitely seems good to me. These cards are all super cool, by the way. Living Wish, no exception. Some removal at the 2 mana slot. Chainer's Edict. Nice Edict effect, late game flashback for 7. We'll get there, definitely powerful. And Smother, instant speed, quite good removal for the format. But Pernicious Deed, as a 4 of, very much the most raw, powerful removal spell that we have access to as far as I can tell. That's why it's a 4 of, even though it's going to sweep up a few unfortunate birds or gardens along the way. It's just the cost of doing business, right? But this card, totally nuts. Yavimaya Elder and everything beyond here is just really powerful, right? Just raw power, grinding power, card advantage, synergy, etc. Let's start with Yavimaya Elder. It's a 2/1 for 3. When he dies, you can tutor up 2 basic lands, reveal them, put them into your hand, then shuffle. And for 2 in sacking him, you can draw a card. So, of course, you can turn him into 3 cards. 2 of them are going to be lands, but they're all resources. If nothing else, it helps thin out your deck, right? But the idea here is that along with some of the other things we've looked at, recurring nightmare. So you sack a creature, return a recurring nightmare to its owner's hand, return target creature card from the graveyard to the battlefield. So you can buy back Yavimaya Elder, keep drawing 3, keep getting all those lands out of your deck. You can cycle Krosan Tusker and then cheat a 6/5 back in after you've cycled and drawn a card and gotten a basic land off of Krosan Tusker. You can buy back a big old Deranged Hermit after you maybe declined to pay the echo cost, or just the opponent removed it. Ravenous Baloth. There are other beasts in the deck. Baloth itself a beast. It's a 4/4 for 4. You sack a beast, you gain 4 life. Obviously, that's great. So I hope you can see how Recurring Nightmare, it's not a 4 of because you're not always guaranteed to have loops available or engines available, but it's just such a powerful top end. The recursion with this card is totally and completely insane. The only other card to mention here is Blastoderm, which looks kind of bad if you're used to value from a mid-range modern perspective. It's a 5/5 for 4, yes, and it's got Shroud, but it's got Fading 3, so isn't that just kind of counterproductive? Well, not really. Because, again, you can get it back, and it is such an efficient finisher between being undercosted for its power and toughness in this format and the Shroud. It's definitely, I imagine, a very nice closer for us. In the sideboard, we have Dust Bowl. Remember that Living Wish can tutor this, should you need a land drop in general, or should you need to start blowing up opposing lands. We also have couple copies of Naturalize. The use cases of that, I think, are very obvious, as well as those for Engineered Plague. 3 copies of this to hose small opposing creatures. In addition to our Pernicious Deed, we've got so much to bring to bear against those types of decks. And then everything beyond that is a 1 of creature. We'll go through these quickly. Withered Wretch, getting ahead of myself. This is a Scooz, basically the Scooz of the format. Color demand's not as intensive, but nowhere near as powerful, to be fair. Plague Spitter, this is another weenie hoser. It's also just a generally decent clock, I imagine, against like Stasis or Tangle Wire, these types of effects. It's going to ping for 1. It's kind of like a rat card, but it's one that we can reach for in the toolbox here. Bone Shredder, kind of like a Shriekmaw type of effect, not as good of a card, but it's going to come in, destroy a target non-black, non-artifact creature. It's a 1/1 flyer that it leaves behind. You do have to pay Echo, but being able to tutor that or sideboard that in is definitely nice. Masticore, board control. It's a 4/4 for 4. It can regen. Definitely an extremely powerful card, but one that you got to be careful with your sequencing because it takes a toll. If you've got a full hand, you don't want to go get that Masticore. You want to have this as the last card that you play. We've got another Deranged Hermit just for pure grindy value, a 4th Baloth, and a Spike Weaver that I don't fully understand, but it looks like it's kind of a fog effect. It's got some funky stuff you can do with counters, but I don't know. I don't know if that one really does it for me, but you guys tell me. Genesis, insane grindy power. If there wasn't enough power and recursion out of our graveyard, Genesis will make sure that that goes totally over the top. And the inimitable Uktabi Orangutan. Gray Ogre that ETBs and shatters. Let's go. Doesn't get much better than that, so that is my rock deck tech. As somebody who's never played the format before, take it for what it's worth, but a more experienced and better pilot than myself built the list, and that's my take on it. So thank you for watching. We're going to play Premodern for the first time ever. Once again, myself and my opponents are all brand new to the format, so you might see some wonky stuff. You might see some amazing stuff and everything in between. Thank you for supporting the content, guys. Thanks for hanging out with me. Let's play some rock in Premodern. Here we go. Good luck, have fun, winning the die roll. Playing against Bobby on Psychatog. Pernicious Deed seems good against Psychatog. We don't have that much meat to this hand, but I'm going to keep it. It's functional. I'd prefer to see, you know, more interaction, but Bobby's going to mull. Obviously, Deed and the birds are a little non-bowy, but if we can find just like one creature to get an engine going, or okay, there goes probably Pernicious Deed, and now our hand is bad. Yeah, so we need to start looping something with a recurring Nightmare. Oh, but Bobby takes Nightmare. Well, I can assume from that maybe he doesn't have a threat, or maybe he just knows that Deed and birds are non-bowy. I think I'm supposed to get the Deed down underneath. More discard and permission. I also am probably going to hold this other birds for at least a little while. Don't see a huge reason to play it out. Okay. Diabolic Edict my bird. Fair enough. Oh man, this format is so cool. Treetop Village. Okay. I think Bobby may not know about Swamp. Otherwise, I think he knows about at least one of our lands. Shadow Mage Infiltrator. Fascinating. That's not Psychatog. With Fear, so we can't block him. Deals damage, you may draw a card. Sure. Seems good. Smother. Alright. That's a nice draw. I think we're just supposed to main phase it. Mana value 3 or less. Now it's ape time. Alright, I mean, I think we're in a pretty good spot. If we lose the Treetop Village to a removal spell, anything could happen. Bobby tapping out for another Infiltrator, and there's another land. Another land for us, too. I think I'm just pressed into killing the Infiltrator. So this is Artifact, Creature, and Enchantment with mana value X or less. Okay, I think we got to. Can Stifle get us here? Yeah, but what are you going to do about it? Alright, Treetop putting the clock on for real. We've flooded pretty badly, but in context of having to deed our own birds, it's not the worst. Krosan Tusker, let's go. 7-drop. Okay. Well, we're going to just try to wait and draw another land. Rather than cycle that. I think. We can always see what Bobby does. But certainly we're going to play the land and say go, at least for now. Let's read this. So when you cycle it, you're going to draw and tutor a basic land, basically. Alright. Yeah, we'll see what Bobby's turn looks like. You know what? Maybe we are supposed to cycle here. It's just value, it's efficient. And we found a removal spell. That seems good. I also have just found more lands. Treetop gonna go all the way here? Oh my goodness. Wow. I wonder what Bobby's sitting on. Clearly no threat. No relevant kill spell. And it's a good thing, because we are flooding like crazy, my friends. Alright, so we have 7 lands in play. We don't really need to play another land even to flash back Chainer's Edict. So I guess we'll hold the land for now. Is the treetop enough? Oh my goodness. First ever game of Premodern. Soloed by my favorite manland. Let's go. Unlucky for Bobby, certainly one assumes. I do think this is probably a pretty good matchup for us, though. So, siding against Psychatog. Masticore can help control the board. When we're siding, we have to remember that we have 2 copies of Living Wish. So it's not necessarily a slam dunk that we side in every one of our playable, like, Living Wish targets. And that includes Dust Bowl. I'm not gonna lie, I have no idea what this Spike Weaver does. Not even a little bit of an idea. I don't think they're playing artifacts or enchantments even out of the side that I know of, so we're going to leave that stuff alone. I think Plague Spitter's okay. It's a body that can block. It can kill the Shadow Mage Infiltrators, which we know he's on. And it's a clock. I think we do want Engineered Plague against Shadow Mage Infiltrator, which I think was a human wizard, but I forgot to look. Bone Shredder's removal, but doesn't kill their stuff, because it's all black. Withered Wretch, I think, is okay as a bear, and I think they probably are going to use their graveyard in some way, shape, or form. So, I'm going to bring in the Plagues. I'm probably supposed to cut a little bit of, like, the grindy stuff, like maybe a single recurring Nightmare could go. Like, we're not really trying to outgrind this deck. Yeah. So maybe a single Nightmare, a single Yavimaya Elder, and a Krosan Tusker at the top end. I don't know if that's correct. Or maybe we could, on the draw, cut a bird instead. I'm going to do that. I'm going to cut a bird. They have kills for it. Pernicious Deeds are, like, best card, probably, and that's a non-bow. I'm going to leave these things in the sideboard, I guess, to Living Wish for them. But we only have 2 Living Wishes, huh? Alright, let's play Masticore main deck. Why not? Just replace a Baloth. Seems kind of better. Interesting. I have no idea what to really expect out of the side. Obviously, their permission and discard and removal is main deck. Maybe there's more post-side. We've got that Tusker and 2 discard spells we're keeping. Bobby's got them all. So we just basically don't want to see a Psychatog in their hand. It's a 2-drop, I think, right? Portent. Alright. Targeting himself. Portent's such a cool card. Look at this. Lovely, lovely. We've got Engineered Plague, okay. So, I guess one option is to blind Therapy for Psychatog, if we're really that scared of it, but I think this is literally my first Premodern match. I'm just going to cast Duress, and Bobby has Counterspell and Gush. Alright, so if we take the Gush we can then force the counterspell next turn with Cabal Therapy. And then we can Engineered Plague the Infiltrator, just make him worse. Make him not draw cards. Or we could take the counterspell and that'd be fine too, but I think I'm going to take the draw too. Play in the mid-range game, who knows if it'll pay off. Living Wish. Wish we had a birds to flashback the therapy with. That would be hype. Alright, so here comes the Infiltrator. I think I probably misspoke and maybe even misremembered. I thought this would kill it. It doesn't, but it neuters it. He's got to deal combat damage to draw a card. Recurring Nightmare. What's cooler to name, human or wizard? I don't know. Let's go wizard. All right, that's a nice answer for now. We're looking priced into cycling Krosan Tusker for sure. Okay, now especially so, he's got a Psychatog. That's scary. Pernicious Deed! Whoa, what a hype draw. What a hype draw. Gotta get it down under discard and permission, don't we? Obviously can't activate it this turn, but that is a nice one, my friends. I'm more than happy to 1-for-1 this deck's creatures. The fact that we're 2-for-2ing our own Engineered Plague is honestly even better. Let's see what Psychatog does. Is he going to expend any resources or just get in for one? Exiling counterspell important, notably leaving accumulated knowledge in there. Alright, we've just got to beware of anything that can counter this activated ability now. But I think we're just supposed to go for it. So probably supposed to do it on his upkeep. Treetop Village is a good draw. I don't know if there's anything cool we could do with Living Wish here. Could just, the only thing we could get in play is like a birds or a wretch. All right. Does Bobby have a third threat? 3 cards in hand. No knowledge of said hand. Beautiful basic land choices, by the way, Bobby. Alright, so we could cycle Krosan Tusker, get a new draw, or we could Living Wish. Cycling Krosan Tusker is pretty cute against permission. There's a lot of good cards we could get if the Living Wish resolves. Think I'm gonna cycle, though. Alright, more lands. Let's start attacking. I think playing either Vendetta. Nice, okay. Playing either of those spells in hand into potential permission was fine. But the treetop got us there last time, right? Chainer's Edict, I'm fine with that. So I'm assuming this is a mana leak deck, so I'm going to lead on Living Wish. Even though I'd rather bait permission with Recurring Nightmare. That'll resolve. Cool. Okay. So we're going to have 4. I'm kind of tempted to actually, even though I sided away from it, play a bit of the grindy game with Yavimaya Elder. I think that's the move. Ooh, counter lose 3? Dang, dude. All right, Bobby. We're down to 12. Life total certainly does seem to matter here. And a Psychatog, but we've got Chainer's Edict. Let's hope this one resolves, my friends. Ooh, I played the wrong land, though. It does not resolve. Okay. So we can flash it back next turn. Hopefully we don't die. He's got no cards in hand. Yeah, that was a punt not playing Treetop Village. Psychatog hitting for either 5 here. Just 4, leaving accumulated knowledge. Okay. Alright, no counterspell off the top, please. Alright. Chainer's Edict, OP. Bobby's Duress, we'll see our Blastodermin whiff. It's pretty nice for us, not gonna lie. Draw a Forest is not the worst because it does allow us to painlessly cast this, although I played around Mana Leak before. I should have done so here and cast this main phase before attacking. But that's alright. This is where we seem to turn the corner. We've got to remember that we've got Recurring Nightmare. We can buy back Yavimaya Elder or Krosan Tusker with. Oh, it's only as a sorcery. I was thinking end step we could activate Treetop Village. Okay, can't do any of that. Probably missed a trick there for sure. But we'll do it second main phase here. Alright, that was my bad. Hey, I'm going to say it. I've said it before, I'm going to say it again. First time Premodern. Alright. So now, I'm just going to bring back Yavimaya Elder rather than the big 6/7. That way, if we do like lose our whole board somehow to a sweeper, we still have game. Alright, it was an Undermine. Oh, the life total's getting nice and low, but we've still got lethal on board, which is part of why we could make that play. I definitely don't claim to have played optimally in the last couple turns. I forgot Recurring Nightmare is not a sorcery. Bobby with a Fact or Fiction off the top. That's definitely a good one. So Smother can keep him alive. And And so can Psychatog with blocking, so we have to separate those. Think doing it like that is fine. If I had played more tightly in the last couple turns, I think we would have wrapped it up by now. Bobby keeping accumulated knowledge, smother, and island. And I think that's GG, because he has to fetch for smother, go down to 5. Maybe he meant to select the other pile. That's my assumption. Because now he can't smother the Blastoderm, but fetching down to 5 leaves him dead to it. It's Bobby's first time Premodern too, and I think we were quite well ahead there. GG's well played, man. Yeah, seems like a good matchup for The Rock, but that second game was super tight. Well done, Bobby. Thanks for the games. That was intense. Good luck. Have fun, my friend. Winning the die roll. Playing a mid-range mirror against maybe Lotus's Dan. Ooh, this hand's bad in a mid-range mirror, but it's got spells and lands. I think I'm going to keep it. And we're going to have to test our knowledge of our own deck. He's playing a deck that I built. I built. I looked at Deadguy Ale and kind of did like a happy medium type of thing. But I'm going to therapy in the blind, obviously. And we're going to name Phyrexian Arena, because I think that's the card I'm most scared of. And I'm feeling like keeping this was very risky. And we don't get lucky. Okay. Fair enough. So Dan's hand is Plain Swamp, Tainted Field, Hypnotic Spectre, Vindicate, Plowshares, and Spectral Links. That is a significantly better hand, I would say, than we're working with. We're going to have to therapy away that Spectre. I think that's the card that's going to beat us most easily. But for now, let's Living Wish just to be mana efficient, even though we risk, Dan drawing discard for our therapy, I guess. And Bone Shredder is interesting. It kind of stops him from playing the Spectral Links without regen backup. We could also just plan to grind and get a card like Genesis. I think I'm going to get Genesis. Not sure what the optimal play is there, but obviously we're in for a long one. We need an engine. Can't have that Hypnotic Spectre going to town on us. So the hand is now Tainted Field, Vindicate, Plow, which we knew. There's a Duress in there. Vindicate. Okay, we got it. Spectral Links is going to be a big problem for us. It's going to either be a clock that we're going to find it difficult to stop as things stand, or it will be a very good blocker to allow him plenty of time to get back in the game if we pull ahead. It's one reason it would have been nice to tutor up the removal for it, but I'm sure Dan would have just held the card for a while in that case. He may Vindicate a land here. He knows we have Genesis, and, I mean, does he know about Baloth? I don't think so. Yeah, he just drew the Duress. This turn hasn't used any discard spells prior to this. He's just going to play another Lynx. Okay. Cabal Therapy. Well, that's going to hit something at some point. I think for now we should be more mana efficient. We're going to let him potentially duress us this way, whereas otherwise it might not hit. But with a 4-drop into a 5-drop, I feel obligated. Notably, if he goes to plow this, I'm going to sack it. So we keep it in the graveyard for Genesis and for other engines. We'd gain 4 life either way. And he doesn't plow. Saving the plow for Genesis, which he knows about, I assume. I think there's only 2 Spectral Lynxes in the deck. So definitely a little brutal to get curved out by them. Curved out on by them, I should say, like this, but you know, the Rock's grinding power is significant. Attacking with 1 is probably the play. Holding up Plow, Regen, and 1 unknown card in hand. Alright, so if we sacrifice Baloth to Therapy, we can get rid of the Plow. And if he plows and... well, he's not going to plow in response. And then we can play Genesis and hope that carries us. I guess that's the play. Swamp and Vindicate. Okay, so now I think we just sack this to Therapy and take the Vindicate and hope he doesn't draw like Graveyard Hate or something. We're just going for it. I don't know if it's correct, but it is awesome. All right. That was some pre-modern play. These are things I've never done before, and it's super cool. Really exciting stuff. Spectral Lynxes are still a serious clock. Pro-green, we need to draw like an Edict effect to slow this down. I don't know what else we have. Dan probably unlikely to tap out from here. The Deadguy Ale curve is really low. Alright, we buy back the Baloth. Can't quite cast it this turn, unfortunately, but it is a good engine. Bird's not a very good draw, but... Yeah, the lynxes are killing us. I wish we could just even chump block here. Would be amazing. Knight of Stromgald. One of my faves. Alright, I think we're supposed to leave that there in the hopes that we draw something else to do. We don't. So the question is, do we bird for a third Cabal Therapy? I don't really see the need to necessarily. But what we can do here is block the knight with Ravenous Baloth, and then either trade or sack to gain the life, depending on what we see is best here. Or force him to pump and give first strike. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to become a 4/1 first strike, and he needs a 5th black source to do that. Plains is not going to help in this endeavor. So we've had a lot of things go kind of wrong for us, but, you know, I guess Dan has bricked-ish off the top, roughly as much as we have. Like, neither one's just drawing fire. Neither one's failing totally, though. And we do have an engine. Hypno. Yeah, flying is rough, eh? A little bit rough. This works, right? Sacrifice to its own ability? I hope that works. Yeah, it does, okay. I haven't used these cards before. Sometimes when you get that message, sacrifice it to its own ability, are you sure? It doesn't work, but in this case, I thought these lynxes were 1/1s this whole game, says Dan. They're too good. Yeah, they've been clocking me like crazy, my friend. Yeah, I'll use the duress, I suppose. Get a Vindicate. Nice, nice. Oh, the flex. Knight of Stromgald. Showing what's up. Alright, Dan with a land off the top. Okay, the clock is getting real. We need Pernicious Deed off the top. That's what we need. Let's go big deed one time. It's so hard to read. It's a 4/1 now, first strike. Okay. That's our cue to sack. Alright, so 3 to buy back Baloth. We have 8 mana. We can still cast Deed and then activate it for 2, leaving the Hypno. I think we need to buy back the Baloth and hope. Like, that should be good enough to stay in the game, if that's the exact sequence. But it is worth thinking about. We can't quite get the Hypnotic Spectre. Wall of Blossoms. That's awkward. So if we cantrip into a land, that might help, but I guess we just kind of do this and plan to chump block with the birds. Mana Sink's OP. I don't know if, I mean, maybe we should have been digging with Wall of Blossoms for Deed. I'm not sure. Well, Dan's just drawing lands, giving us a shot here. Oh, shoot, I forgot to chump. That was bad. It's gonna work out. Our draw is gonna make it perfect. Yeah, that was just awful. Hey, I declared my intent. I didn't totally miss it. I just missed it when it mattered, that's all. Yeah. Alright, so now... One, two, three. I'm just going to buy back the Baloth again, but I'm not confident that it's the right move. Llanowar Wastes. We do kind of need to make land drops in order to keep looping this while also double spelling, getting ahead of the Spectre. Now we can chump block with birds without having gone any lower on mana sources than we otherwise would have. If Dan can draw removal and force the early sack, then we're in for a hurting. Alright, let's see if we remember to block the flyer this time. This time we'll make him actually do all the activations because he does have another card in hand. It could matter. All right. 8 sources. Ravenous Baloth gaining 4. We're still dead. So if we take back Wall of Blossoms... I mean, I think we just need Pernicious Deed off the top, no matter what. If we... 1, 2, 3... So we can't activate it for 3 if we use this ability, so I'm going to say no. We have to target, though. And then we're going to say no. Then we need to just draw Pernicious Deed. Living Wish. Okay, I don't know if this does anything for us, but let's find out. Seems like a pretty good draw to me. But does it get us anywhere? I don't think so against the protection from green and regenerate cards. That's going to really do it. Oh, Plague Spitter? I mean, this is going to kill us pretty soon, but it's going to kind of funnily wipe their board. Again, everything's green from Deranged Hermit. I think we're just dead, so maybe we can seal info. I don't remember. Regenerate's going to tap it. Let's just get and play the Plague Spitter. Let's just show a little bit of hate for these weenies that are beating us down. This thing's going to kill us if nothing else does, though. Dealing 1. Oh, and we're getting plowed. GG, my friend. GG. Well done, Dan. Spectral Links curve out. I called it. Terrifying. Terrifying stuff. Alright, there's enough X1s there that I like Engineered Plague. Potentially. We're probably going to want to leave some cards to tutor for with that Living Wish and bring some in. I'm going to side it potentially down to like 2 discard effects on the play. I think everything else is going to be pretty good. I think our matchup here is fine. Just got to fade the Lynxes. And otherwise try to keep up. Cutting a Dork or 2 seems reasonable. Maybe just 1 on the play. Bone Shredder's not good in this matchup. Withered Wretch is probably should be left in the sideboard. Yeah, I'm going to bring in the Plagues, and then I'm going to bring in Hermit and Genesis. There's still enough to tutor for, I feel. I really have no idea what the Spike Weaver is supposed to do. Prevent all combat damage that would be dealt this turn. That's an interesting one. Kind of a repeated fog. I'm not really going to tutor for a Baloth, I don't think, ever, so I'll just put it in, and then we have enough of a toolbox to reach for Masticore, Plague Spitter, maybe Bone Shredder if there's a window where it lines up against a Lynx when he shields down with regen. You could tutor Withered Wretch if the graveyard matters much. Which I'm not really remembering my own list all that well, clearly. But I don't think it's too crazy. Into the graveyard stuff. And as mentioned, if it is 1 Withered Wretch, probably better to tutor in the side anyway. All right, that was a beating. Let's try to turn her around. Well, it's a mono-green hand as far as lands go, but it's got Wall of Blossoms into Yavimaya Elder. This is a pretty good mid-range mirror hand, minus the lack of black. We're definitely keeping, in my opinion. Treetop OP, anyway. Swamp and Pass. Nice, a black land. Let's go. Drawing lands here is still kind of fine. We probably don't want too many more, especially non-black ones, but What is Dan considering, I wonder? Alright, Tainted Field and then Tuco Shade. Pumpable 2-1. It's not a bad spot for an Edict into Treetop Village. It's also not a bad spot to just get Yavimaya Elder down. It is a white deck, though, so they could plow the Elder. That'd be kind of rough. So I think that makes me want to Edict. And then Tuco Shade is not necessarily one of their higher value creatures, but it's still a good enough turn. So ideally we'd play Elder on turn 5, but if there's no other obvious play to make next turn... And remember, we kind of wanted them to play a little bit out into the Pernicious Deed. So, to me, there's no clear and obvious path. We have to just be kind of reactive based on what Dan does, but... Vindicating a Treetop Village. Rude. Alright. Just drawing more land, so that makes that play pretty good for us. I think I'm just gonna attack with Treetop here. This is where we regret having just a 0/4 green wall in this matchup, rather than something that's cantripping and also pressuring, even if it's just like a 1 or 2 power. By not playing our good 3-drops, we of course make his discard better, but the discard's going to be pretty good for a while. Oh no, Gerard's Verdict? Yikes, dude. That is rough stuff. Okay, definitely pitching 1 land. And probably a Chainer's Edict. Hang on like Grim Death to this Pernicious Deed. At least Edict has flashback. Not another one! Okay, Knight of Stromgald. got a little scared for a second there. Alright, we gotta start dumping the hand, I suppose. Alright, I'm gonna be real sad if there's a plow waiting for this Elder. I think if he just goes to attacks, I might block with the wall. Because, like, we have a Pernicious Deed anyway. Ah, the plow. Hey, it happens. That's a big problem for us, though. That was our way to really pull ahead. I'm going to throw out the block here. He now has to fully pump, and that guarantees that our deed will resolve. And then we can at least play it and pass next turn with mana up to activate it in response to a disenchant or something. See how aggressive he gets with the pumps here. Knight of Stromgald, super OP. Yeah, the combination of Vindicating Gerard's Verdict, pressuring our mana and our hand, kind of forcing us to play the Elder into the plow, that was all nicely done and definitely pretty rough for us. Okay, so Chainer's Edict is now online from the graveyard, with one more land drop, I think. Yeah, for 7. Yep, so... for now, we just play the beast. Seems good. Okay, getting Edicted will... we're unable to activate Treetop, so let's just gain the 4. Gonna be as patient as possible with the deed. Okay. Chainer's Edict is now live. So the question is, do we play around a little bit of graveyard hate by using the Edict now while the edicting is good, if you will? Or do we, like, respect the prospect of him siding in Disenchants? I don't know if he would, and I'm trying to think, is there, like, anything at all else that kind of factors in here? I really think it's between, do we play around a few Disenchants, or do we play around a few, like, Wither Direction, Tormod's Crypt type effects? It's 6 one, half dozen of the other. Just gonna go for the Chainer's Edict. Obviously, that is very powerful in this situation. Just getting that flashback, if nothing else. Now, as far as I know, Deed is going to kill everything in his deck. Edict is going to kill everything in his deck. Excuse me. Wow, we made the right call. Play around Tormod's Crypt. Let's go. Still hate to see it, but that is still just kind of a 1-for-1 in this case. And we haven't even really invested the card into the 1, if that makes sense. Definitely holding that forest. It seems like a pretty bad draw. We are flooded. Make no mistake. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We've seen 10 lands in the top 16 cards. Am I doing my math right? It's pretty bad. Is this a discard effect? Followed up by a crypt activation, something like this. Hypno, sure. I think I'm supposed to untap, see if he lets us get to the main phase to Chainer's Edict. No such luck. Birds. So I think now we just unfortunately dump out the hand in the face of Hypno. I'm not going to crack Pernicious Deed against Hypno at this exact point in time. Treetop wins the race. We don't care about the discard. We can even chump block, which I guess we might as well chump block now. Birds of Paradise. Slightly worse healing solve. Let's go. I mean, we could have considered, actually, if there's, like, something super... Ooh. Wow. Oh, okay, it's got regen, never mind. Yeah, that's a rough one. But at least Treetop still kind of wins the race. For now. So it's going to block 1 damage. And then a regen. You have to assign at least 1. Yeah, okay. Just making sure. Another Treetop is actually probably a pretty great draw. Dan can think about sitting back and trying to offer a double block, but that might be then our cue to crack Pernicious Deed. And hope he doesn't have a third threat to follow up with. We'll see if he attacks first, though. Okay, he's sitting back. So if we crack Pernicious Deed now for 3, this dies, this taps, we swing for 6. Plus we have the mana next turn to activate both Treetop Villages and cast a 3-drop, or activate 1 and cast up to a 6-drop. So I think I'm going to do it at the risk of him having, like, double threat in hand and it really screwing us. Let's go for it. I think we're supposed to be the finisher now. If we can. Oh no! Thought it was end step. Lol. That is so bad. That was so bad, I thought it was end step. GG. Treetops are bad. Against Exalted Angel. Alright, I just threw the game away. I just totally threw the game away. Maybe deserve it, though. But dang, the Exalted Angel. I mean, this would have been pretty tough for us to beat anyway with a non-kill spell off the top. I do have to say. Because, like, we take that play with the Deed, assuming that we are assuming the aggro roll in a, you know, all the risks that come with that, but this puts a stop to our aggro roll anyway. We'd just be doing slightly better. Yeah, dude. I absolutely screwed us here. We've still got, like, a good beatdown squad coming across, but nowhere near as good as it should be. We should have basically, he should have 1 less turn with the Exalted Angel attacking. Because I should have obviously unstepped. That's what I get for commentating while playing a brand new format. Not that I haven't done stuff like that in Modern and similar before, but... Yay. Alright, we need a miracle off the top. That's not it. There's a consideration to play that swamp so we don't lose it to Gerard's Verdict, which doesn't really matter, except it lets him gain 3 life off of it. Phyrexian Arena. Yikes. Ooh, he sits back with the Angel now. Huh. Okay. Yavimaya Elder. Just supposed to immediately draw off this guy, I'm pretty sure. Another land. Bruh. Okay. Alright, we sit back. We needed to draw into something really engine-y there, I think. Like the recurring nightmare, Genesis type of stuff. Loop the Elder a couple times, this type of thing. Yeah, so my Pernicious Deed play will prove to have lost us this game. Partially because I didn't end-step it like I was supposed to. But also, like, again, even if I did the right thing, even if I had timed it right, I just made the call to become the aggro, and then we just would have lost to Exalted Angel, punishing that. So, well, I mean, I guess it's fair enough. Corrosive Tusker, a 6/5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Are we supposed to play a 6/5? It's also a beast. I guess it's got to be better than the average draw, right? You just got to present enough of a board that attacking with Exalted Angel becomes risky for him. And obviously a 6/5 will do that. He's got 5 cards in hand, and we've ripped a few too many lands. Double Wasteland now, too. Those are showing up big here. Oh, no. Oh, no, no, no. Okay. The clock doesn't change if we attack, so I think we just all-out attack. It bluffs less well. That's basically all we have going for us by not doing this. This is a Deadguy Ale clinic. Every piece of the deck just really pulling some good weight here. So we're virtually dead. We have 1 turn to not die where we somehow have to beat a flyer and a regen pro-green. Threat. Alright, now we only have to beat the flyer. We have 2 turns because he hung back with the Lynx, which is probably correct. Oh, down go these beautiful Llanowar Wastes. They're killing us. Bad top decks, gaining him a bunch of life. The Flood. We can sacrifice Baloth to stay alive, and Corrosive Tusker for that matter, but, well, Deranged Hermit's a card. Alright, we're going to try to keep the race up, I suppose. Alright, so do we buy ourselves 1 turn, or do we sack the whole board to buy 2 more turns? I think just 1. Yeah, that sucks, though. He's definitely got everything at this point, which, when he's interacted that well, and when we lost the gamble with Deed, and when he's got the arena going unchecked, rightfully so, he's got everything. He's earned it, and he should. So Deranged Hermit, not a bad bomb off the top, but yeah, we're just pretty done for. I don't know what I'm holding out for. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I mean, a deed for 6 restarts the game, basically. That's all we can try for. Then it will be our 0 cards to his 5, 6, or 7, depending on what the turn looks like. And Spectralinks will actually survive it unless he, for some reason, taps out. So I think we're gonna give up the Ghost here after one more draw step. Like I said, it's been a Deadguy clinic. The deck looks awesome. Our deck looks good too, just suffering against Spectralinks in a major way. It's funny because the Deadguy list that I have here that I've given to Dan is almost a copy pasta, but one of the only changes is we're going to say no to the Echo because it's Deed or bust. One of the only changes is Spectralinks, which were not originally in there. Alright, my friends. Absolutely rocked 2-0 by Deadguy in some nice grindy games, but certainly Dan had the upper hand. GG's. And here it is. Have we won the die roll all 3 times? I think maybe. I'm against Nasty A. Good luck, have fun, my friend. So we're against Burn. And that makes this hand a lot riskier with Treetop Village and Llanowar Wastes. However, I think I'm probably still supposed to keep it. And just play Treetop Village T1. I'm really not sure. If we just had, like, Swamp Forest, I think this hand would be good. This might actually have been a Mull. I don't want to run the bird out and then lose it to, like, a shock or something right away. So I'm going to just go Treetop Village pass. And just try to draw clean, painless lands, basically. There's Mog Fanatic. That would have pinged the bird so rudely. It's not a great Chainer's Edict target, to be fair, unlike Jackal Pup or Grim Lavamancer, but Wall of Blossoms is one of the best draws I can imagine, honestly. Let's go. Big hype. Cast it painlessly. Cantrip 0-4. OP. Now we just need to hit some lands off it. The pre-modern veterans are probably losing their minds that I called it Burn instead of Sligh. Forgive me. I'm a noob. I'm a modern veteran, pre-modern noob. Alright, there's the Jackal Pup. Give me a land. No dice. Chainer's Edict definitely a little bit better now. I guess we just cast it and say go. My Kingdom for a land. Would be really nice to do that, and then, yeah, after they sack Mog Fanatic, go land birds, but no such luck. It is a relatively slow start, though. We can just get our feet underneath us, cast a Pernicious Deed. That'll be huge. Are we getting shocked now? Bolted. We'll take that. Cursed Scroll. That's it. That dies to Deed. Come on, lands. Oh, no. Alright. So we need to... This is pretty sad, but we need to just Living Wish for Dust Bowl just to make a land drop. And then, you know what? If we pull a land off the top, we just get to go deed, sack it. It might be GG. But I think our hand would be very, very powerful if we had not missed lands for this long. But that was certainly the risk of the hand, right? Alright, so I think Nostier missed 2 damage there. I think you're supposed to Cursed Scroll for Jackal Pup before playing it. Come on, land. Oh, man. Well, okay. We're going to take a ton of damage this next turn, but at least we'll clean up the whole board after it. That's a huge difference, though. We're going to be taking 5 at least. Probably more like... Okay, he's activating Lava Mancer instead of Curse Scroll, so that's totally fair. Yeah, we're going to take another, like, 6 plus because we've missed a land drop. That makes all the difference, obviously. So, even though we're going to million for 1 him... Alright, Wooded Foothills. We're still going to be at a nice low life total, and then we're going to have to find a clock pretty quick. Remember, our Llanowar Waste is pinging us to Smother. Okay. Artifact, creature, and enchantment. Let's go. Another Lava Man activation, perhaps. Okay, so we're at 6. Barbarian Ring has got some reach. If we could tutor, if we had another land in our sideboard for Living Wish, I would probably tutor it. But for now, I think I'm supposed to play Bird. This is a fascinating game. You can see how, obviously, we'd be super far ahead if we'd curved out with lands, but... Oh! Ball Lightning! Oh, no! The scariest top deck of all time. That was so hype. That was so hype. Alright, we've got to jump. Brutal. Alright, now we can't win, can we? What? How could we possibly win? He's just got to draw mountains only. Even a fetch land is going to turn on Barbarian Ring. 2 of those will, I guess. Alright, Volrath Stronghold. So we're effectively operating off of 1 green. We can hold up Smother for exactly another Ball Lightning. We can't even cast our stuff? Dude. Alright, we're going to have to... Well, okay, what if we hold up Volrath's... No, we can't even activate Volrath's Stronghold. Alright. We can't cast Deed or Nightmare, or Smother for that matter. We can only cast Living Wish, actually. Or attack with Treetop Village. We could also Dust Bowl the Barbarian Ring, but I'm not sacking a land, I don't think. So let's just go get something that gains life, and hope that we draw like a painless green land. That Ball Lightning just totally limited everything we could do. That was nuts, dude. You got us. Nice. Alright, losing G1 to burn. So, might as well take our time sideboarding here since the gameplay is nice and quick. We need to respect the possibility of Cursed Scroll, potentially. Just not at the expense of other things. I'm thinking, of course, of Naturalize here, but also Pernicious Deed is like slow but insane. And that cleans up the scrolls nicely. We also have the enchantment. I can't remember what it's called. Is it Sulfuric Vortex? To consider. That's a grindy card. I guess we should expect that plus those main plus more out of the side. All things considered, I'm leaning toward Naturalize. I guess we should figure out what's bad. Not much is bad, to be honest. I think we're just supposed to trim a little bit of the grindier things. 4 Deed might be too many. Yeah, I'll cut a single Deed. So, Plague Spitter, Engineered Plague, Bone Shredder, all these cards are actually pretty fine. I'm just cutting top-end stuff. We want to leave a few things in the sideboard to reach for. I think being able to tutor Masticore is fine. Another thing we could do is cut Living Wish because it's slow, actually, and just play all of our good cards. Maybe our sideboard is putting us in that type of, is giving us that incentive pretty hard. Spike Weaver seems okay, I guess. I still don't know what that card does exactly for the deck beyond obvious things. Utabi Orangutan, destroy only an artifact, not enchantment. Can probably leave that out. This seems good enough. I think there's a definite argument to be made to leave the Living Wishes in, and then the sideboard with some significant differences. Once again, the color production and the pain is not ideal, but it's better than last time. It's a pretty balanced hand. I'll keep it. There's a lot to like. And he mulls to 6, which is great news, but I think he did last game, too. And we saw how that went. Dude, Ball Lightning. Ball Lightning. So cool. This format is sweet. Yeah, I like the draw of Forest plenty. I think Wall of Blossoms is the play here rather than holding up Smother. Another Baloth. Well, those are good. Those are pretty darn good. The pup doesn't even test the defenses. Love to see it. All right, I don't see the need to do too much here. I think we can sit back and hold up Smother if need be. Line up a big Pernicious Deed next turn if that's the play. If this is a Ball Lightning, I'll feel really good about holding up Smother. Yeah, let's go. Alright, it's turn 4. We just took our first damage. That's got to be pretty good. Blossoms, yeah, just looking better and better for us, my friends. Might even consider not activating Deed until their end step. It's the difference between 1 damage. So at least see if he does anything before it blocks. Yeah, we'll wait. Not minimizing 1 damage against burn at all, but in this particular case, I think I like it, the way the game's going. Just getting a beast down. Hard to go wrong with that. I think there is some merit to playing Wall of Blossoms as well, but... The Lava Man, we've got a Bone Shredder for you, and a Scroll. Got it. Okay. We'll start off with a wall. Another Bailoff, my god. I'm gonna play Bone Shredder, though. Seems fun. Gotta let our more fringe cards have a little bit of time in the sun here. I don't think we can lose. We've been incinerated. Not sure it's correct to pay the Echo, but I will. Never didn't have the land to make that play okay. Sometimes it all goes right for you. Scroll for... Fire Blast. I kind of suspected this. So we gotta respect that. OP is dead on board. Fire Blast can kill a Bailoff, but obviously that's just a losing play. So even if he draws another Fire Blast, it's not quite lethal. And obviously we could respond with Beast Sacks when appropriate. So the idea here is we'll just present lethal next turn. And that should be that, one way or another. Tis a land off the top. So that's kind of like a million for one in this context, and technically it's the right play, although, once again, I think we should have activated Scroll first, but it's academic at this point. But that is technically the right play. It's the only thing that seems to prolong the game, whether he did it on our turn or on his. Nostier says he misplayed. I mean, I don't think that was going any other way with my draw. Just got a really lucky draw on the play, basically. Right interaction at the right time, backed up with some chunky, life-gaining 4/4s. That's just exactly what you want. Drew the missing lands this time. Yeah, he says even if he sequenced correctly, it doesn't really change it. That's exactly right. And that's before he even knows about the third Baloth in hand, which is just a little obscene. So we're going to have a game 3. It'll be interesting for sure to see if we want to do anything differently. I doubt it. I'm liking the siding away from Living Wish, although I'm not confident, like, overall that's correct. I think it's more correct on the draw, so we might as well stick with it. Yeah, I think about 2 Engineered Plague is about right. You can't have too many things that just kill the creatures against burn. I'm going to get rid of the Spike Weaver. I don't think we need the Fog effect necessarily. I'm going to put like a Masticore in, or I don't know. Plague Spitter's damage sketches me out against burn, but it is good against their creatures. It's quite an interesting sideboarding against burn. You would think would be one of the more straightforward, archetypes mid-range against burn, but it's actually not, at least not to me first time out. Masticore's not bad. We could play a Krosan Tusker for the cycling and the ramp. Withered Wretch is not bad. It's a 2/2 for 2 in their Graveyard Matters. Maybe I'll try him. He hasn't been involved at all yet. Sure, it's just like a low curve play that can trade with Jackal Pup or whatever. Or Didagrim Lavamancer if we don't clean up the graveyard first. Alright, 2 discard spells, a Pernicious Deed, and a Manland. With relative painlessness, I think we keep. But if they have a turn 1, Jackal Pup, that's bad. Gotta keep it, though. This hand would be many times better on the play, but no turn 1 threat? Let's go, alright. Now we've got a shot. We draw Ravenous Baloth, too, seemingly at all times in this matchup. I don't hate that. Will we get bolted in response here, perhaps? Something like this? He's just going to let it resolve. There's 2 Ball Lightnings. Oh, yuck. Grotesque, but no third land, interestingly. This is a fascinating choice, Fire Blast or Shock, because there's no... Oh, sorry, there is a third land, because he's got one on the table. Obviously, that means the Ball Lightnings are getting cast. Maybe we take Shock, though, and plan to Therapy away the Fire Blast next turn. Wish I could discard a Ball Lightning, obviously. So he likely knows now that we have a... Oh, no. That was probably a bad play, but I can at least Therapy away the Ball Lightnings. I'm glad I remembered that. I was just tunnel visioning on Duress being non-creature and thinking that my follow-up would be as well. Oh no, my friend, quite the opposite. Alright, that would have been the punt of the Sanctuary. So now I kind of wish I took Fire Blast, but I think taking Shock's still okay. Because those mountains are resources too. But now we get to 2 for 1, possibly 3 for 1. The Ball Lightnings. That's incredible. Cabal Therapy. So they just drew another mountain. Okay. Seems good for us, but again, I should have taken the Fire Blast if I'd really thought it all through. Alright, there's still one more mountain in hand. We play the apes and we go. Back to you. Yavimaya Elder. That's a good draw. That is a good draw indeed. Better than getting the deed out by far, if you ask me. We could also therapy for Fire Blast right now. I don't think that's particularly great, but it's a line. I'm not going to do it. Like, I don't mind just the 2-1 clock that gets us cards if he kills it. CA says, I kind of wish you had. That is, missed the line. Forget that Cabal Therapy hits everything. Yeah, I bet you do, buddy. I bet you do. Alright, I mean, I think we just kind of do the obvious thing and slam a Baloth here. But there are certainly lines with sacking Elder to draw, following up with a bird, Cabal Therapy to force Fire Blast out. Okay, Fire Blast and 2 unknowns if I have tracked correctly. Withered Wretch, okay. So I think I like attacking here, then probably sacking Elder to draw a card and get 2 lands. I like how you draw the lands first, thus making your actual draw step of a blind card that little bit less likely to hit a land. It's just kind of a nice upside. So I think we just dump out a bunch of stuff here. It's going to make our deed a non-starter, but now that we have Chainer's Edict in hand, it's fine. We'll just play Birds and Withered Wretch and say go. We could Cabal Therapy pretty easily off of Birds, but I just don't know what I'm naming that I care about. Like, we're at 20 life, we have 4 life, able to be gained at instant speed. A lot of the things we might successfully name, I'm sure he can respond with. So it's just like, just keep our resources, and we can't quite swing for lethal, but it's close. I think it's probably better to... Okay, so Fire Blast on the Beast, fair enough. We'll sack it. Gain 4. I think it's probably better to eat away at the graveyard rather than play Deed. And if that's the case, I think I should do it main phase to turn off Barbarian Ring. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Alright, do it once more, then we'll say go. And we do actually still have lethal on field next turn. Cursed Scroll, got it. We can potentially therapy flashback to force something out of their hand before we activate Treetop Village. But I think Withered Wretch might be almost as good. Maybe it's not. Maybe we do want... We're just going to therapy for Lightning Bolt, I think. Because Scroll can kill Withered Wretch, but it cannot kill Treetop Village. So we're just going to go for Lightning Bolt. Another Fire Blast is also something that can kill any number of things, but it's, you know, depleting his resources a lot more. And of course, if he responds, then we'll just do what we gotta do. We might get a little hand info for Engineered Plague as well, on the off chance that he's holding a creature in hand for whatever reason. But mainly we're clearing the way for the secure Treetop Village finish. Alrighty, let's it resolve. Moment of Truth. Lightning Bolt. Double Fire Blast, single Price of Progress. Okay. Fair enough. Definitely thought about naming Fire Blast. Definitely would have hit. Obviously, we're in fantastic shape. Price of Progress for 2. Treetop Village betraying me. Good sequencing, Nastia. First the POP, then the Fire Blast. I think I'm just gonna eat 2 cards, then play a Deed, just to get it down. Obviously, we could kill Scroll now by eating 1 less, but that is not relevant with so few lands at Nostier's disposal. His best draw would be like a Shock or a Bolt for the Wretch, I think. He's at 1. What's it gonna be? Oh, the Shock. Game goes on. I'm eating the whole graveyard, buddy. How dare you? How dare you shock my wretch? Making the stand at 1. Let's go. All right. Can we draw a finisher? No, we cannot. All right. No need to really do anything here. I'm giving the people at home some entertainment. Mog Fanatic. It's a pretty good Chainer's Edict target. Not really, but I'm still going to use Chainer's Edict just to get it in the yard. I think it's slightly efficient in this way, but it really doesn't matter. We're just trying to close out the game. We have all the kill potential in the world. Alright. Probably could have cracked Deed on the end step, but it definitely doesn't matter. Wall of Blossoms, fabulous draw. Cabal Therapy, we know Fire Blast is in hand. So let's get that before there's another land found. There's another Price of Progress, which we don't care about. Just gonna do this now. And I think it's better to leave the wall, technically, than to therapy that out. But the land off top were punished. Actually, I mean, with all these kill spells, it was probably better to sack the wall, to be honest. Really doesn't matter, though. Just gotta draw like a creature that'll get us there. Nastia sticking it out, though. You respect it. You have to respect it. More content for you, the viewer. Lol. Alright, time for a plague on all jackals. I should have therapied. I tried to stop my pass through the turn unsuccessfully. I should have therapied while he was mana down on POP. Didn't get there. Guys, I promise I'm not drawing this out on purpose. There it is. There's our big finisher. Good old Ravenous Baloth, the MVP of this matchup, by a long shot. I should have probably cleared the way for it first with therapy, but whatever. Like, it's just another 2-for-1 in our favor if he does have another Fire Blast or something. Which we've already seen 3 of the 4. Lava Dart us. Got it. Incinerate, then Lava Dart. We gain 4. It's another million for 1, like I said. And now we'll therapy the Price of Progress away for sure. Well, no, he can't even... Actually, we shouldn't, because he can't use it. He can't crack the fetch land, and he can't use POP. Alright, I'm learning so much about this format. It's pretty cool. We could still therapy for something else, but I should have played Forest over Wastes, technically. With Price of Progress, a card that matters, but... Alright. The Lava Man will be smothered, I am afraid. Barbarian Ring. Alright. Big threat to end the game. Anytime, anytime. Alright, we'll duress out of curiosity. We know we'll hit something. Sulfuric Vortex. Well, that's the take, even though we have a naturalize. How many lands can we draw? Don't answer that. Don't tell me. Barbarian Ring can now beat a 2-drop, or a 2-toughness threat. You hate to see it. Bone Shredder, that'll die to Barbarian Ring. Dang it. Okay. Nasty, I apologize for dragging this one out. Might as well use a therapy on the price, even though it doesn't matter, just in case there's something that does. Also, Sulfuric Vortex. Wow, the hand is so dead, dude. The hand is just so dead. Jackal Pup. LOL. I hope y'all are watching this on 1.5 times speed, at least. You couldn't make it up. Well, I'll play a deed, I guess. Might as well hit the scroll and save Naturalize. But yeah, Sulfuric Vortex is something that he can't play either. It's just as dead as Price of Progress. Yeah, I guess we'll just hit the scroll now. Can we get a fatty? Well, we can get Recurring Nightmare. That should do it. The one that we left in. Alright, so who do we buy back? Probably just a Bailoff. Now this is a real loop, because we can then play this again. And I guess just say go now. But if Bone Shredder's ETB wouldn't kill our own Bailoff, we could play that, get another one back, or loop Wall of Blossoms, Yavimaya Elder. It's just like, you just can't go wrong with any number of lines at this stage. GG's, at long last we get there. Alright, Nastier, great games, my friend, well done. You put us to the torch G1, and then G2, the curve out was pretty strong from this side, and then G3, I guess the curve out was probably even stronger. Yeah, tons of hate, natural, and sideboard, I suppose, combined from the rock for Sligh. GG's, dude. Okay, friends, so that was a nice 2-in-1. It was representative in all the ways that I hoped it would be. We saw the land base be a big asset. We saw it be a bit of a burden, especially game 1 against Burn. It was a liability, and it was definitely a bit of a greedy keep for sure, but you can see getting punished for Llanowar Wastes and for ETB tap lands. But I mean, Treetop Village single-handedly won round 1, game 1. We didn't get Valras Stronghold really involved, but Treetop was absolutely OP. And I would say the entire rest of the deck followed that pattern, where it felt like we got a representative look at Rock over only 3 matches, 3 best of 3s. The land base in general, the land count in general, usually it was what we needed, but we did flood a lot. The discard, it was pretty sweet for a lot of the time, crucial to our success in many ways, but proved to be a bad top deck. That didn't, to be fair, come up as much as I would have feared, but it did come up against Burn. We were drawing a lot of discard spells that were just hitting cards that were already dead out of Nastier's deck, so a little bit non-Bowie with stuff like Engineered Plague in very small and slight regards, but if the game were closer, that could have mattered a whole lot. The Mana Dorks, again, they were kind of bad top decks in places, but they were pretty sweet in others. Wall of Blossoms just felt excellent to me. I looked at some lists when I was picking mine. I saw ones that play Wall of Roots instead, and I was like, Wall of Blossoms has got to be better. Maybe I'm underestimating the ramp aspect. Despite that possibility, or indeed probability, Blossoms has got to be better. I think this league has not dissuaded me from that. Living Wish was some sweet tech. I remain unconvinced as to whether or not I should have sided it out like I did against Burn, but definitely really cool. Removal was absolutely fantastic. Again, sometimes not quite as proactive as need be. That's the only bad thing you could say about that. Pernicious Deed did enough to get on the cover, I'm sure. Recurring Nightmare was boss in places, and Baloth was probably the MVP of the big top-end cards, simply for how often we saw it, how relevant it was against Burn, and Yavimaya Elder. There's more to come from this guy, but we saw a little taste of the power of the Elder. Really cool stuff. Sideboard, yeah, I mean, I liked... I feel against Psychatog, our main deck stuff more or less carried it, although there was a cool use case of Engineered Plague against the Shadow Mage Infiltrator, and obviously Engineered Plague just putting the hurt on the Jackals in a pretty big way against Burn, and also had a potential role to play against Deadguy Ale, right? So this card, I think, was overall the most impressive sideboard card, and that doesn't surprise me. It just looks really powerful. I love having access to all these one-ofs for sure, and we didn't need, it wasn't a league where we were highly dependent on Naturalize or Uktabi Orangutan or anything like that. So really just the Engineered Plagues with an assist from the Toolbox suite, definitely really cool. Rock looks awesome, guys. It's got consistency, it's got powerful interaction, and it's got an insane top end. It extends the game like nobody's business. We basically lost two main deck hate cards out of Deadguy Ale, those two of Lynxes, which are not in every Deadguy deck, but I think they should be there as a two of. From my initial take on the format, they proved to be a massive, massive thorn in our side. So I don't know if there's a way you can account for that when building Rock. I don't know if you want to reach for any black threats potentially. I don't know what's out there and how well it can compete with the top end. They don't seem to slot in as well here to this kind of recurring nightmare, Volrath Stronghold, Cabal Therapy shell as they do in the leaner, meaner Deadguy Ale threat suite, but it might be just something to think about. Either that, or you just got to pack more removal. Respect those, but Dan had us good. Dan had us good with the Deadguy Ale, and I certainly misplayed at least once in every match, and I think the deck carried me through Burn post-side just by showing me nice curve-outs and lots of Baloths. And I think the matchup against Psychatog is a good one. And I think kind of the way those went reflected that. Now, Bobby got very unlucky with just losing to a solo Treetop Village beats. He told me after the fact he drew all the counter spells. That is basically exactly what it looked like from my side. But still, you know, Psychatogs are maybe a little bit hard to protect against a deck that interacts at such a low curve, right? So he's got discard, he's got permission, but our interaction is low curve as well, and there's just about as much of it. So I think Psychatog probably a good matchup. I don't know if Burn's a good matchup. I think it's probably at least 50-50, maybe better, maybe much better. I think it's a good matchup for Rock and Modern. Why not here? Deadguy Ale, I actually would have said maybe I think the Rock is slightly favored there just looking at it, but I could be wrong about that. Certainly it didn't look like it in our matches, but it's a small sample size, guys. And thank you so much to the three, once again, it's Bobby, Dan, and Nastier, the three competitors for everybody's first time out with Premodern. It was an awesome, awesome time. I had all kinds of fun. We're going to be playing more casually in the Discord and arranging more feature mini leagues like this, where I take one list, I play it against three different things, and we do a little intro and outro, just like this. But if you guys have any suggestions for the content format, for what decks to play, not that I have any lack of those because we're just getting started, whatever else, that is what the comment section is for. If you want to be a part of this community, it is a closed community for Patreon supporters. The link to all that is in the description below for those so inclined. I do plan on churning out some Premodern content. I'm a real busy guy, but this has got me actually interested in Magic for the first time in a few months. I'm really excited about it. I hope you are too. Hope you enjoyed this one. Obviously, my play will improve over time as well, shaking off the rust, learning the format. So thanks for your patience there, and I hope to see you for the next video. Until then, my friends, take care, and I'll talk to you soon.